Howdy, my name is Tim, and with me is chef
Torrin.
Torrin. Hello, ma'am. What are we going to be making for dinner tonight?
Tamales.
Yes, we're going to be making a Texas tradition Tex-Mex version of tamales, and in the Le Creuset and the cast iron. It's pretty easy. I know there's a lot out here, but cooking for the family, I love to get super fancy when I have the time. Tonight is not that night. Where's Rollo at?
He's at lacrosse.
Yeah, he's at lacrosse practice. So we have a finite amount of time for us to prepare dinner before Rollo and who comes home?
Ginger.
Yeah, Mom. And so we have to have dinner ready. We have elk, lime, jalapeños, onions, and then all of our different powders that we're gonna be doing in our roux for our sauce. And we're gonna have elk stuffed tamales. Elk and cheese. That sound delicious?
Yes.
Oh man, this is going to be good. So first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna make our sauce, and we are going to make our elk. And then once our sauce is ready, we're going to stuff the tortillas after we prepare the tortillas, put them in the Le Creuset, and then bake them. Be pretty straightforward. We're gonna be kind of over the top on the healthy side of it. Obviously, this is a Tim hunted elk, and it is going to be delicious. We're going to be making our roux in a tallow that I rendered myself. And everything else, you know, like you see a lot of H-E-B products. That's a Texas grocery store. That's pretty delicious. Do you like H-E-B?
Yes.
Yes. Do they
Well, especially I like dentists and airports. But I don't. The only thing that I don't like doing in the airport is security.
Yeah, it's kind of irritating. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna put all the ingredients in both the caption below and also like just put it on the screen so you could just screen capture it and see it. Portions are going to vary slightly depending on the flavor that you're trying to nail here. I have a 5-year-old and a 10-year-old, so the amount of, for example, chili powder and jalapenos and cumin.
5.5?
5.5. Thank you for the correction. Precision of words. You're correct. 5.5-year-old.
5.5.
Do you like spicy food?
No.
So, you know, it will honestly be slightly underflavored for what I would normally go with, but you'll still get the basic ingredient list, and then you can adjust from there.
I knew you were going to do that.
This is a recipe that I'm gonna have to give you. This is my own tallow. I made this myself. If you don't have tallow, you can just use butter. You can use a high temperature point oil. Obviously, staying away from seed oils, trying to stay away from vegetable oils, as those things are not good for you. We're gonna put in 2-3 tablespoons of tallow, both in the cast iron where we're gonna be cooking the elk and where we're gonna be making the roux for our sauce. I'm gonna add a little bit of butter as well, and I'll add a couple of pinches of sea salt. So we're gonna be browning our elk in the cast iron, and then we're gonna be making our roux in the Le Creuset pan. In addition to our tallow, we added some Kerrygold butter, which Torrin decided to snack some. I know we'll be back to the video in 1 second, but this video is brought to you by our sponsor, Game Day. Men's health is a hard thing to navigate, especially as you're getting older. I know it more than most. Been very unkind to my body, and now I'm trying to really recover from a bunch of mistakes that I've made over a long career in the military and a long career as a professional fighter. Hormones are a big part of that. Recovery is a big part of that. Game Day, they are experts at it. And I love training. I love being able to lift weights. I love being able to work hard. I love getting to grapple and to box and to kickbox. And that gets harder as you get old. So check out Game Day. They have completely free. You can walk in, they'll do all the hormone checks to see where you're at, what you need to be changing, whether it's diet related, and or if you need to supplement something. These are guys that are gonna understand your body and how to really optimize you for turning you back into just the freak athlete that you remember that you were. So check out Game Day. They're all over the nation, incredible company, and they know more about your health than anyone else in the world. All right, so we just threw the onions in the cast iron pan that had tallow and butter in it. And we're just gonna wait until the onions get close to being brown. We're gonna want them to be translucent, and then we're gonna add the elk in there. Then we'll start adding the spices as we're cooking the elk. While we're doing that, we'll start cooking our roux. I got flour sitting here. You don't need very much of it, just a couple of tablespoons for the consistency to brown into the butter, which kind of gives us the base as we slowly start adding the broth. And in this case, we'll be using chicken broth. Back to not sponsored by HEB, but man, they really do make really high quality stuff for a grocery store brand. I don't think anywhere in the nation is going to be beating them. Maybe I'm a little biased now that I'm wearing a cowboy hat and they come and take it shirt. Man, just like that. I love cooking in cast iron. Just look how evenly that distributes all the heat. Yeah, it's so pretty. And look at it, it's like a non-stick pan when you take good care of your cast iron. Elk is a really lean animal, and they're one of my favorite meats because they're the least gamey in flavor. Like axis and elk they don't have that venison type gaminess to them, so my family loves it. You do have to use extra oil because they're so lean and there's so little fat naturally that's intermuscular, which is way different than that ribeye that just has tons, or that wagyu that just has tons of fat. Okay, onions are getting. I see some brown onions and I see some translucent onions. The onions are going to cook a little bit more. I'm going to get them off to the side. Drop this elk right in the center. I love good salts. Scripturally, you'll hear about a salt losing its flavor. So a lot of people just kind of like leave their salts out. You should take good care of your salt. Keep it in glass, and unless you use it as a liquid absorbent, because salt expands as it absorbs water, which could break the container. But in this instance, I'm just adding really good flaky sea salt to the elk and the onions. We're like 95% done on the elk. We're just waiting for it to kind of brown, and it's really, really close. We're gonna cut the heat, and then we're gonna go into making the sauce. Elk is done. It's off the heat. Next, we're going to be doing our roux. We have our butter with a little bit of tallow, and we're gonna take a couple of tablespoons of flour in there. We're gonna be stirring it constantly with a whisk, and then we're gonna be adding our flavor, onion powder, garlic powder, cumin, and a little bit of chili powder. Do you wanna be adding the flavor, Torin, and I'll be doing the stirring? Sounds good? All right, low 5. Let's go. All right, low to medium heat. I got a big burner down there, so I'm gonna have a low heat, which will, well, low on the knob, medium on the flame. And once I see that butter start to bubble, I'm gonna start adding our tablespoons of flour. Okay, one of the things with roux, it's butter. Butter can burn. So having that medium heat, you hear the butter starting to pop. That is your indicator that's ready to go for the flour. And once you add flour, you sprinkle it in there and stir constantly. I just use a metal whisk because I'm cooking a Le Creuset. That should be plenty. Well, I'm just going to start. You don't want it to brown, where it'll taste bitter. And this little kind of frothy thing that's happening with the butter is exactly what we want. The other oil that's in here is another animal-based oil, which is our tallow, which makes it really easy to get kind of that good consistency. It'll start smelling like a cake without sugar. And that's when you know that you are going to start adding your broth. Again, I'm under flavoring, so don't judge. And we're adding a couple of tablespoons of each, or a couple of teaspoons of each. Depending on like your palate, the onion powder and garlic powder, you can add more of. With my little ones, I added very little. Oh, that smells so good already. Just butter, flour, and now we get to get the whisk back out. All right, mission accomplished. Didn't burn the butter. Now we're gonna bring it back up to a boil that we've added our chicken broth, stirring consistently to make sure that we don't get clumpy or we don't burn any little portions of it. These both cast iron, the Le Creuset, do a pretty good job of distributing that heat, but we still gotta be vigilant. Nothing worse than burnt powdered and butter. Flour and butter, burnt flavor is a bleh. All right, we're on the downhill slope now. Roux done, the elk is browned. I'm gonna be fully transparent with you, like my onions. We're gonna make two different batches. We're gonna make one for the adults and one for the kids because I want jalapeños, I want a little bit of extra flavor and spice. I'm gonna be adding some tomatoes and also some green diced chilies into the stuff that I'm gonna be stuffing my tortillas with. The last thing that we gotta do is prepare the tortillas before we stuff them. And when you're using corn tortillas, if you just use the kind of uncooked tortilla, they'll break and they'll get flaky or they'll get really, really soggy. Or if you overcook them in the pan, then they'll be too crispy. And then when you bake them, they'll just turn out kind of gross. So we're gonna kind of fry the tortillas a little bit, and then we're gonna roll each of them. We're gonna put one of them in the cast iron or in the Le Creuset, and the other one we're gonna put to the kids. We're gonna put into just a regular glass dish. We're gonna throw in the oven at 375 degrees, and that's it. It's super simple. On the kids' side, could not be more simple. I'm gonna take cheese. You can use any cheese that you want. I'm gonna be using mozzarella, cheddar, and cojita cheese. I'm going to mix that with the elk, and I'm gonna stuff it inside the tortilla. I'm gonna roll it, and then I'm going to bake it with cheese on top of it. Super plain, super simple. And for my wife and mine, we're gonna make it a little bit more spicy and a little bit more fun. Obviously using what is this roux that we've put a bunch of effort into. And we're adding tomato paste now. Tomato paste and salt. 6 ounces of tomato paste. And we're gonna let this simmer for the next 15 minutes. And this is going to turn into like the consistency of almost, not jello, but it's gonna be like a thick syrup that we are going to put on top of and inside of our tamales. Oh my goodness, look how pretty that is. Look how freaking delicious. So these enchiladas are gonna have that kind of perfect consistency. This is gonna simmer for 15 minutes. Okay, our roux is good, our elk is good. Last but definitely not least is tortillas. Make sure that you use good tortillas, and if you can, support a lot of times you'll have a local tortilla maker that you can support, a small business that isn't being mass produced and shipped in with ingredients made by a country that hates us. I don't know, but do what you want. On the tortilla side, we're not going to make them crispy. We're just going to like slightly cook them. I put a little olive oil in the pan. I have a high heat on the pan, and I'm gonna cook the tortillas. I'm gonna do 6 of them at the same time. I sprinkle a little bit of salt in there, and seeing the salt starting to crackle is telling me my pan is getting to a pretty close temperature. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna like put the tortillas in, roll them, and then put them out into the corners. Again, we do not want to overcook our tortillas here. So tortillas are good. We're gonna do the kids' ones. So I'm gonna take some elk meat, super underflavored and depressing. I'm gonna mix it with cheese, and then I'm gonna stuff them and put some cheese on the top. cheddar, mozzarella. You could use Colby Jack, you could use taco cheese, but ultimately, here's what we're stuffing it with. Okay, now we're just gonna roll them, stuff them, cover them in cheese. We have our fried tortillas with cheese, stuffed with cheese and meat. And now we're gonna throw them in at 375, let them cook until the cheese melts and starts browning, but we're pretty much good to go here. And then I get to get mine going. Mine, I'm going to add some diced green chilies and some diced tomatoes into my pan. Cook that thing, get my, ooh, that's toasty. I could do it. I'm gonna mix this in with the meat, then I'm gonna stuff the meat mixed with this in it, and then I'm gonna cook the tortillas, have the cooked tortillas inside of this, and then I'm gonna drizzle this stuff back on top of it. It's just gonna be dynamite. Sliced jalapeños, squirts of lime, and then finishing off with a little Mexican cheese. This is gonna be fantastic. Mess with it how you want. For me, I have some of our enchilada sauce here. I'm gonna put this and save this for the top. I still have some left in the pan, so I'm gonna take my meat that has the tomatoes and the diced green chili, and I'm gonna put like 4 or 5 scoopfuls in there, enough to roll it in there. I'll mix the cheese in there. Okay, so there's the meat and enchilada sauce. Now we're gonna throw in cheese. Yeah, let's just do that, yeah? Gives a little bit more real estate. Oh my gosh. Can I taste this now? Because yeah. For me, it's how much can I stuff inside of a tortilla and still get it to like close back down. Because I want obviously as much steak as I can in every single one of them. Bam. Cap each side with one to try to keep as much of the meat inside of it. And because this is the non-kid friendly, jalapenos just right on the top. Underneath the cheese. Sound effects help. That. Here we are, ready to go in the oven. Bam. It's going in at 375, and it's going to go in for 20 minutes. You want the cheese to melt and everything inside to kind of like cook and congeal together. Those flavors be absorbed into the tortillas a little bit. And then on the very top, it to start just getting brown with the cheese. That tells you it's ready to go. While that's cooking, I'm gonna get out the sour cream because that's what the kids want on top of theirs. I'm gonna get out some tapatio and some Cholula because that's what my wife wanted on top of hers. I also saw that she not so passive aggressively got some green chili salsa to go on top of it. I want lime on any form of my Tex-Mex, so I'm gonna get my limes ready because I'm gonna put about a lime per enchilada. And then I'll have more jalapeno because I love jalapenos. Okay, kids, one is perfect. Adult enchiladas. Ooh. Classic gringo Tex-Mex right here. Homemade enchilada sauce. We got jalapenos, the cheese. Now, when we plate it, I'm gonna take the kids, I'm gonna add some avocado and some sour cream, and then I'll drizzle some cheese on top. That's gonna be it for them. For ours, I'm gonna scoop a whole bunch of the sauce. I'm gonna drizzle some more jalapenos on the top of it. I'm gonna squeeze a little bit of lime, maybe some sour cream, and then we'll add whatever salsas that we want on top of it. This looks dynamite. You can see the cheese is just brown at the top, but this is gonna be so good. Let's just have that right there. Just come here, little guy, just come here. Oh.